So Susie was already telling me that we're running a few minutes late, so I'm just going to start talking and not go into the speech first. A couple informal things about Tim, sarcastically, some of the great ideas that he had. First would be our schoolhouse and our Bethel Park Historical Society, and how everyone knows how he loves this cause, and how we had to dig the basement out 2 feet by hand with 5-gallon buckets for 3 months. That was exciting. That was a great idea. Or Lions Park, as council graciously donated the playground equipment, giving a bunch of us council members, Mr. Janisak, myself, Mr. Jenkins, a few people on the Lions Park, a Bible, a 300-page guide on how to tear down a playground. And then he tells me that Miss Dolinar is picking up the equipment the next morning, and it had to be done by 7 p.m. that night. So that was exciting. That was exciting. So those are some of his great ideas that he had before I start my speech. But anyways, let's move into the formal ceremony. Good morning. I'd like to welcome all of you for attending today's program. And would like to acknowledge a few people first. We had a bunch of people that congratulated Tim. Congresswoman Lee's office, Allegheny County Councilman Dan Grisback. We have Senator Devlin Robinson. We have our state representative, Natalie Mihalik. I don't think she's here yet, but she also wished her congratulations to Mr. Mowry. And then we have our school board here, and then our municipal council as well. And I'd also last like to give an important shout out to Mr. Mowry's family for attending as well. We also like to, our public works for setting everything up, our first responders, our fire department, our police department. We appreciate everything. Today is an important day in the history of Bethel Park as we honor Tim Mowry's 28 years of service and dedication to the citizens of our community. And it's fitting that this sparked his interest in running for office, and now we're naming it after him. Back in 1995, Tim attended a council public hearing where they decided whether to light this park or not. He went to the meeting because it impacted his home. At that time, there was a lot of political back and forth, and there wasn't a lot happening in recreation. So when his ward election came up, it was going to be a contested race. But the person who was running called and said he was no longer going to run and asked Tim, and that's how it all began. That was in 1995, and he took office in January 1996. When we came up with the idea to rename the park Mowry Park, there was unanimous support upon council to make it happen and to do so as quickly as possible. Tim was a mentor to all of us, and still to this day. He'll make himself available if we need him for any reason, day or night. He is a complete ambassador to our community. As I mentioned, Tim was elected to Bethel Park Council in November 1995 and was sworn into his first term in January 1996. In November that year, council voted to reorganize, and Tim was elected president and held that position for the next 27 years. He was the longest-serving council president in Bethel Park history. During his tenure, he was the driving force behind many of the wonderful recreational amenities that we now enjoy. To cite an example, back in the 1980s, there was a lot of discussion and debate about building a community center with the community divided, not about building it, but rather about how to fund it. With his guidance, grant funding, and community partnerships, they were pursued in helping bring this project to fruition, and all within the current budget at that time. He was also very passionate about ensuring that all of our parks were upgraded and reflecting the needs of our residents. He wanted to ensure that each park had a unique identity. While Tim would say that he was only one member of council, he truly was a driving force to bring the community together and build a consensus on council to move Bethel Park forward. I'd like to mention a few projects that were completed under his leadership. Building our community center, acquiring and developing Millennium Park, working to assist the development of the Montour Trail in Bethel Park, renovating each and every one of our parks, the recreation addition to our community center, a dedicated fire tax, and the building of a new fire station on Brightwood Road, a new public works facility, the Greenwald and Logan Creek flood projects. Also, following a major rainfall in July 2018, with more than 500 homes impacted, Bethel Park residents responded, and the municipality was awarded the Governor's Award of Excellence in responding to adversity. Working with the Bethel Park School District to acquire Washington and Ben Franklin schools, they will be closed in the fall of 2026, and we will maintain the ball fields and increase our park system. We'll be increasing our parks and green space by over 150 acres. I could cite many other accomplishments during his 28 years, but we're here today to acknowledge the efforts to make Bethel Park a better place for all and to dedicate this park to be known as Mowry Park. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome our Senator, Mr. Robinson, Devlin Robinson, to come up. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. Well, 28 years. I just have to say that, you know, Bethel Park is a truly special place, especially in my district. It's really a crown jewel right here in the heart of the 37th, and has the largest population of any municipality in my district, and you can see why. It's because of people like Tim Mowry, who have worked to make it such a nice banner community. And I don't have to tell you how special it is and all the good work that you've done over those 28 years. You can see it by how many people came out to celebrate this occasion for you here in the rain, in a March winter day. So that says enough for itself. So I brought you a token of our appreciation from the Senate. So, congratulations. Thank you.
Now I'd like to bring up our municipal manager, Miss Denny.
Well, you've heard from the elected officials what Tim Mowry has meant to them as a colleague and as a member of the community. So I'm going to speak on behalf of staff and the administration. Mr. Mowry is a force of nature, and for anyone who works in the administration or the staff with him, we refer to that force of nature as a tornado. But I can say there are very few people that can accomplish what Mr. Mowry can, and that is, one, being an idea person, and two, being the person that executes those ideas. We work with a lot of people that have great ideas, but overcoming the barriers and the issues and the political opposition to make those things happen takes years. Mr. Mowry has patiently found a way to build on all of the partnerships and the relationships that he has within the community to make these things a success. This park being one of them, the firehouse, the community center, the schoolhouse. There's not too many corners of this community that you look at that you don't run across something that his fingerprints are on. He has truly, and I can say this, there's very few staff that don't walk away after working with him that have a great respect. And I think that he motivates a lot of our staff and administration to work harder because we want to make sure to keep up with him. And believe me, that is not easy. He and I, I'm new to the community, new to the position. I could say that he worked tirelessly and spent so many hours onboarding me and filling me in with the history and the backstories of Bethel Park, which nobody could ever, fulfill those stories quite the way Mr. Mowry has. And I, in my sleep here, it's a good idea, but there's a backstory. And for any of us in the crowd, we've all heard that. But we can't thank him enough. He's not only made the community a better place, he's made the staff a better place, and he's made our job easier on many days, and I'll never say that again. But truly, on behalf of the staff and the administration, this is such a small thank you for the many things that he has done in this community, both internally within the municipal building and out here in our parks and facilities. There's not enough thank yous that can go around. For his friends and family, I hope this is a small token to show you how much we appreciate all the time we have stole from you, making Mr. Mowry go to a million meetings and spending hours on the phone with all of us. Thank you, Mr. Mowry. Thank you for all that you've done for us.
Thank you, Ms. Denny. We have our state representative, Natalie Mihalik, here to say a few words.
got kids sports all day, so I'm not as dressed up as our other esteemed elected officials. Good morning, everyone. I oftentimes refer to the schoolhouse as the gem of Bethel Park, and as far as places go, I think that it is. But as far as people go, I think the gem of Bethel Park is Tim Mowry. Anything Bethel Park. And I know he's been in office a lot longer than I have, but for the past 6 years, anything Bethel Park, Tim's my go-to. Whether it's a late night text, in which case he's probably at the schoolhouse cleaning it or painting something or patching a hole, or a phone call. Hey, this is going on. I want to make you aware of it. Tim's always been there for me, for the community. He's been the best advocate, I think, on behalf of the municipality's history. You've got some big shoes to fill, John, but I'm very confident that you will carry on his legacy. And we've got some great new people here in Bethel Park, and we're all still kind of relying on Tim. So he's retired, but not really. He was in my office a few weeks ago advocating for this, that, and the other thing. I said, I think you're fired. You should leave. But I think this is just a great testament to really the legacy that he's left for Bethel Park. So many projects. I think you were running out of pages to list all the projects on, but really the gem of Bethel Park. Congratulations, Tim.
Thank you, Natalie. Oddly enough, I think Tim has changed his phone number. It's tough to get a hold of him now. I'd like to invite up our school board president, Mr. Christensen.
I wasn't planning on talking, but I guess why pass up the opportunity, right?
Appreciate it.
So I just wanted to echo something what John mentioned, that for me, I think Tim has been a fantastic mentor since I took over on the board. We've spent a lot of time working together. As you know, we got some big projects going on. And I think Tim has forgotten much more about how to get things done than I'll ever learn. And he's really helped guide us through a lot of the things like financing and the project planning, many of those things. And I would say that, again, I think as a mentor, you've been fantastic, and I appreciate everything that you've done for us. And I would say also that, in Tim's mind, it's not, municipality versus school or anything. It's about how both entities can work together to make Bethel Park a great place to live. So I want to thank you for that also. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Christensen. And I do want to say again, we appreciate our council and the school board working together, the synergy. A lot of that Mr. Mowry put together personally. So we can't be thankful enough for that. And now the man of the hour, Mr. Tim Mowry.
Thank you, Mr. Oakes. I guess I'll say two things. One is he stole most of my speech, but more importantly, I get the last word. Never forget that. No, it truly is. I just want to thank everybody from coming today, whether you're residents, whether you work with us, the police, the fire, our public works, and just everybody that showed up. And I really appreciate, because you all have made this a special day for me, and everything you've done over the years have really made it a special community. This is an incredible honor and privilege, and I am unbelievably grateful for the honor bestowed on myself and my family. I personally want to thank council, manager, and staff for making this happen, and for our public works director and our public works that are here to set everything up. And they're the ones that really take care of not just this park, but all of our parks. So I just want to say thank you. Those of you who know me, who work with me over the last 28 years, it's never been about me, but what we as a group can do together to make Bethel Park such a special place to live and keep the taxes affordable. I had to get that in there. And John touched upon my involvement, how I got into politics, and I will say that the backstory behind that is when in November of 1996, 9 months into my first term, I referred to it as the November to Remember, is when we made a choice to reorganize council. And it was interesting. I was the newest member. and I guess I was the most naive member to raise my hand to say that I would do it. And a couple things I learned: some people voted for me because they liked me, and some people voted for me because they didn't like the other people. So I guess I kind of aspired to the leadership role really by default. It's been a great honor to serve the last 28 years, and I will tell you this: while I didn't have a lot of experience or know a lot of what was going on, I always followed the one rule, and it's to do the right thing. It may not always seem like that, but that's what we always try to do as a council. Well, the early days were a challenge. I looked at my role as a facilitator. How do I take the ideas of the community, ideas of council, staff, and how do I come up with a plan to get them done? And that was one of the unique things, that we were able to accomplish these. Well, my name may be listed as president, but it, you know, as John Pape often referred to me, and he said, hey, just remember, you may be president, but you're still only one vote. So our role was to really build a consensus and really work together. And as you look back at the history, we had a lot of 9-0 votes, but we had a lot of 5-4 votes along the way. And you know what? We were able to get things done. So for that, I appreciate the opportunity and the colleagues. I think it was 25 different council members I work with, a few different managers, police chiefs, a number of different staff members over the years, and only one solicitor, thanks to Mr. McTiernan. But it's been a true honor. This is not a tribute to me, but to everybody I've served and worked with over my last 28 years. I believe that there's been a number of people that have really helped and supported, and while we always didn't agree, we agreed to disagree and move on. For that, I will be forever grateful for your support and your acknowledgement of what we are here to do today. I say thank you. On with the festivities. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you all for this great opportunity. Thank you.
Could I ask Mr. Janisak and Mr. Consimagno to come over here so we can remove the special velvet cloth off of the new sign? Mr. Mowry, without further ado, Mowry Park. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Thank you very much. There's light refreshments, coffee, and donuts up at the pavilion. Thank you guys very much.